Welcome to the Chaska Human Rights Commission meeting for November 15th, 2018. Nate, can you call the roll?
Sure. Commissioner Carlson is absent. Commissioner Colhap?
Here.
Commissioner Bean?
Here.
Commissioner Dunbar?
Here.
Commissioner Welvert?
Here.
Commissioner Kim?
Here.
Commissioner Haga?
Here.
And Commissioner White?
Here.
All right.
And Commissioner Leggett is also absent. Sorry to almost forget him.
Okay, it looks like we have a short agenda tonight, which is good since it's dark and rainy out. But does anyone have any additions or changes for the agenda? Ellen, did you want to just add the thing that you brought to like the new business?
Okay.
Just to kind of talk about what
Sure.
it
I
is you
attended the
attend-
bolo wrap presentation today.
Okay, so we could maybe put that on new business?
Sure,
Or,
yeah.
I mean, it's
we,
not business, but,
Yep. We don't necessarily need to amend the agenda for that. I mean,
Oh,
the new
okay.
business is kind of an open-ended section that things can be brought up, so. But we can definitely talk about it
new
then.
stuff.
New stuff.
Okay. So do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I so move. Or I wasn't here, I can't. I wasn't.
Yeah, you
at the
can.
last-
This is the agenda.
This is the
Oh,
agenda.
oh, yes, I move.
Yeah.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, the agenda is adopted for tonight. We don't have any guest presentation tonight that I'm aware of, so we can move on to the minutes from the October 25th meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read through those? Any changes to that?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes for October 25th?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, that has been approved for the October 25th minutes. And we will move on to Nate with the treasurer's report.
All right. In October, we had a balance of $412.93, and we had no new expenditures since then. So we remain at that amount, $412.93.
Okay. I guess first we'll talk about the Martin Luther King breakfast. I know Sarah, Commissioner Carlson was going to talk some more with the CDA about the panel and kind of get some clarity on how we're going to do that. So we'll have to get an update next time we see her on that.
Yep. I've exchanged emails with Allison Strike,
Okay.
who's their assistant director there, and she's aware that, you know, we've asked for them, you know, to identify a staff person and maybe a client of theirs who'd be willing to talk about their experience. I think they've got some folks in mind, but they're going to have those discussions and identify them. So I think, you know, they're willing, they're interested. It's just a matter of the details of who those people will be, and I think they've got ideas.
Okay, and everyone sees in their packet, there is a sheet that has kind of a preliminary program for the Martin Luther King breakfast that Jeff Philippek sent. We're starting to fill in more blanks, which is good. I'll talk about this musical presentation because I emailed Commissioner Leggett about it to find out if they have decided on the songs they're going to do. They have not chosen which songs yet, but they do want to perform 2 numbers, I think. And so if we can fit 2 into the program, then that would be what Mr. Beckler was hoping for. And then as soon as they know which ones they're rehearsing and doing the best on, they'll let us know which they're planning to use. Who was going to talk to the Diversity Club? Was that Jeff also?
Yeah, that was Jeff.
Yes, and
Okay.
Jeff did include in the email message to me that he's had that conversation. They're willing, just like last year, to do that, and they're looking to identify the, specific students who will be available and able to do it. But they do intend to have a presence and do this part of the agenda.
Do you know if they chose the excerpts that they were going to do, or was that chosen by the chamber? I don't remember us choosing excerpts for.
No, we definitely did not. So I guess I'm not sure whether it was the students who did that or maybe they worked with Jeff to figure that out. I guess I don't know how that, it just sort of happened last year. I don't know, so
Yeah,
it'll happen
Magic.
again. Yeah. Yeah.
okay. The question that Jeff asked also was about the breakfast. Do we want to go with something like Red Bench? Or do we want to go around and see if we can have donations from the different local businesses like we did last year? Last year it was basically, we got some rolls, I think, from Cooper's and some coffee from Dunn Brothers. And then I think Jeff in the chamber had gotten fruit or something, so there's a little variety. Does anyone have a preference of what kind of breakfast we have?
How many people do you think will be in attendance?
We had about 50 last year. We didn't have a performer like the band that will be coming this year. Last year we talked about that if we have groups perform, like choirs or bands, that would probably add additional parents that come to watch their kids perform and stuff. So I'm hoping it's bigger just because people have heard about it too. So I would hope it would be more than 50 this time.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to judge, I guess, but my thought is if we planned for maybe approximately 100 people, that should be sufficient. Ideally, then we don't run out of food.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's better to have a little bit left over than not enough.
And if we get a huge crowd, we'll figure something out, but that'd be a good problem to have, so.
Well, we're close to Red Bench. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
if they'll be open that day, but somebody could make a quick run to Cooper's or someplace. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're really in a situation, yeah.
Yeah, that is something to think about because Red Bench isn't open Mondays.
That's true. So they are willing, if we can, put it in order ahead of time, they could, have things available for us that day. But, if we're gonna try and get some extra stuff the day of, that wouldn't be an option. We'd have to do something else, so.
quick
if we
run to
had-
Cooper's, Cubs.
Right. Yep.
What if we have a lot extra? Is there somewhere we can bring it?
Well, I don't want to say my address on live TV. I think, launch could be an option. They've got groups that come in, so maybe we could work with them.
I think we didn't have a lot of leftovers last year, but I think I brought a couple packages down to lunch afterwards, so.
Or, Bountiful Basket.
Or send it home with the diversity students or
Yeah, yep.
or something.
I just think it will cost more to do it from Red Bench. So if cost is no object, then it would be nice to use a local business that's just starting out. Otherwise, you could probably get like a dozen rolls at Cub for $5 or something.
That could be, yeah, Red Bench has offered to sell it at cost for us if we want to go that direction. So it'd be approximately, it's just sort of an approximation, but they said something like $1.50 for planning purposes per item. So if we got 100 items, we'd be looking at $150, something like that, so,
And that's pretty reasonable.
yeah. I think as far as coffee goes, Dunn Brothers did donate last year, so we could make that ask again this year and see.
They're usually willing to step up for community events, so.
It's
that's
not
a pretty-
unusual for
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Well, I personally like the idea of Red Bench because I'm a huge fan of them. And it doesn't seem like the cost would be that high.
That's a
And
good-
it's kind
good
of a
price.
special thing to have, And then if we do run out, we can run to get the cheap stuff somewhere else if we need to.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I'd support that, Red Bench.
Okay. Well, I can let Andy know over there that we'd like enough for 100 people.
And he would just do a variety of things
Yeah,
then?
that's what he talked about with me, is he just sort of put a smattering of things together that, we can offer up, so.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know. Do we
I think
vote on
so,
that?
it's money.
Yeah, because we have
Yep.
to vote on the
Yeah,
spending.
approve the expenditure, yeah.
Okay, so all in favor of,
We need a motion first.
oh, that's right.
I move to do the food purchase at Red Bench at approximately $1.50 per, I think that's what, so it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but approximate $1.50 each. For 100 people.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, looks like we've approved that. I don't know if there's anything else
Last year, did we just have coffee or did we have juice? If we're having high school students.
oh, I think we had cider. Just-
Okay.
I think we had a couple jugs of cider.
Okay,
Oh.
with the high school students.
Yeah, that's a good point. So it'd be easy to just pick up some juice or something, so we can do that.
The other thing I asked Jeff about was the invocation at the opening, and Pastor Greg Snow has agreed to do it this year, so we'll have someone different doing the opening. But Jeff did also call Pastor Dean Seal, who did it last year, to find out if they will be having a Martin Luther King event at that church again, because we'd like to promote it. If they are having, I think they do it every year. And it would be kind of nice if we can just, have the idea of, we have this breakfast in the morning. Hopefully, we promote a day of service throughout the day to help out in the community, and then kind of end it with the service honoring Dr. King at night. So we're still waiting to hear back what the plan is for Shepherd of the Hill, but hopefully we'll get that soon and we can get that on a flyer. Any other questions about the breakfast right now, or any things we've forgotten?
Is somebody
Has
going to approach
anybody-
Dunn Brothers about donating?
Yeah.
I can do that.
Oh.
I can do that. Good question. Okay, so moving on. We can talk a little bit about the Human Rights Commission Award update. I saw a nice ad in the paper last week. I haven't looked this week. But
There
was
should
it-
be one this week also.
Okay.
Yep.
Just kind of reminding people that now is the time to get in the nominations for the award. Nate had exciting news that there's 2 people that have submitted nominations, which is more than I've heard before,
Yep, yep.
so.
2 nominations have been
2
submitted. Yep.
nominations.
Yep.
Wow.
Who are
So-
they?
Huh?
Who?
Who are the nominations for?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I'm overthinking this, but my thought was just to
Oh,
keep that under
to
wraps
keep that
until we review all of them
you get
together.
all of them?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
The other thing Nate and I discussed is that maybe at our next meeting, we can have a work session where we meet just as a group to discuss the nominees and who's going to be the winner before we officially announce it at a meeting. We can have discussion and a little, I mean, it shouldn't take very long. So it could either be that we meet a half hour before our regularly scheduled meeting, or we could take time during this meeting, stop for a little bit, discuss it, and then come back to the meeting once we have a choice in mind.
Yep. So it would be a work session, would be the term. So you could hold that, you know, like Jen said, ahead of the meeting, or if people just aren't available ahead of the meeting, you know, then you could vote to enter into a work session. Then we would be off camera. It's just a little bit more of a casual conversation type of a meeting in that situation, so that we can, you know, discuss, come up with, you know, what it would be, or whoever the nomination would be, and then we would enter back into the formal meeting again to vote and, you know, make the formal nomination. So it's really 2 options. Either one is fine. It's really kind of whatever works best for everyone is the one that we should do.
You know, I think the work session will work out fine, but I think there should be at least some discussion at the regular meeting to,
Oh, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, you know, in the regular meeting.
I mean,
we
not
can-
just come to the work, you know, say, okay, announce this is what we decided.
Right. Yeah, and there's nothing saying that you can't, you know, talk about who the nominees were, reasons that you choose one, or, you know, whatever the case may be, but it might just be, sometimes the work session environment is just an easier environment to have
Sure.
that frank conversation and, you know, be able to talk things through, so.
Yeah, I guess I would agree that I think it's better to do it in an executive session than in a public session, because I think you can be a lot more frank, and in the interest of encouraging people to continue to apply, I think it's better to have those conversations offline.
Yeah, and it's still, you know, a public meeting, so if people want to come and observe, that's an option for them to do that.
Does anyone have a preference about if we do it before our regular meeting or during?
I could go either way.
I'm good for 6 o'clock.
I prefer before.
Do you, Barbara?
Before.
Robert?
Yeah, before is fine.
Okay, I like before also. Okay, so we'll plan for our next meeting we will meet at, did I ask you? Kaylee?
I'm not even sure if I'm gonna, to be honest, it's 2 days after Christmas and we go to Wisconsin, so I'm not sure
Oh.
that I'll be here, but
Okay.
yeah.
If you are gonna be here, do you have a
It's fine.
preference?
It
I'm
won't work.
sorry
No,
that I
it's totally
skipped you.
fine. No, it's fine. I think we should do it.
Well, is the 20th the date of the next meeting?
27th.
Oh,
27th,
okay.
So if we're in town, anyone who's here can come to this at 6 o'clock rather than 6:30, and then we'll have a regular meeting at 6:30? Okay. And by then, maybe we'll have 3 nominations.
That would be fantastic. And, you know, nothing prevents you all from making your own nominations as well. So even though we've received a couple from the public, you know, you can make nominations also. So you might want to think about that.
Well, I think also, I'm sorry,
Oh, yeah.
just encouraging people in your own networks, like I've been posting it to various social media places and gotten a couple of bigger accounts to retweet it, so I think to the
Oh,
extent
good.
that we know people or organizations that have bigger networks sharing it, so that we're getting that message out there and not just relying on newspaper ads and things like that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Because there's a lot of organizations and people in town that are doing a lot of great things, so we should recognize it. Anything else about the award that I forgot, Nate, when we were discussing it?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
And then going back to Nate, I know you were gonna talk to Threadtastic
Yeah.
about the T-shirts.
Yep.
What did you find out?
Yeah, so last meeting I shared Lisa's options that she had come up with, and we thought, well, maybe we want to take a look at Threadtastic just because they're a local business, and see if it's something they could do. So I did talk with them. It is something they can do. They do both embroidery and screen printing, so we would have options within that. I did send over to them. They wanted to see the logo, and they wanted to, me to send over just in an email what it is exactly that we're asking for. So I told them we want a T-shirt, we want the logo on there, probably screen printing, but maybe embroidery to make some extra fancy, and that's a cost-efficient option too. So they'll send me both, but they haven't sent it back yet, so I don't have the numbers to share tonight.
Okay.
So
Well, I think if we wait till the next meeting, we still would have time to order T-shirts before the Martin Luther King breakfast, if that's what we were planning to wear them to. So should we
Is it a fiscal budget? Do we want them in this year's budget taken out of, or?
Probably still be.
yeah, we still have, so if we've
It's
got,
December 27th is our next meeting.
with the 150 could come out of next year's budget. I mean, we still have 400, whatever I said earlier, dollars available. So that would be
Yeah.
plenty for some T-shirts. So if it comes out of this year's budget, we can make that happen.
We want it to then, right? I mean,
Yeah,
otherwise we
it-
lose the,
The dollars are available, so you may as well use them. Yep.
okay.
So if we choose our vendor at the next meeting, we could in theory order them on December 28th, and it would come out of this budget
Yeah.
from this year.
Yep. Sure. Yep.
Should we wait to hear the prices then, from Threadtastic?
Well, does it matter what the price is? Haven't we sort of decided to get T-shirts regardless?
I think so. I mean, everyone was in favor of getting T-shirts, yeah. I think now we're just, thinking about, do we want to keep it local from our business, or, are we more in a hurry to just get what the options were that were presented at the last meeting?
Well, I guess I'll say Threadtastic has been a good partner for the city over the years. We use them pretty frequently for various things that we need work done for. So I'll just, not that I'm on commission from them to give them a commercial or anything, but
Is there any reason to think they wouldn't be able to get them done by the end of the year?
I think that's going to depend on what their workload is and where
Well,
they're
they
at.
don't have to be done, do they? Couldn't we pay for them before they're done?
Yeah, I don't, from a budget perspective, we don't need to worry about that, so. I think it's more a question of, do you feel like you want to just authorize those shirts to be made by Threadtastic, or do you want to wait and see what that, what the quoted price would be? I wouldn't anticipate it's going to be anything unreasonable, just based on our past history working with them, so.
Could we okay like $150, and if it's more than that, maybe revisit it? Or like at most that much?
Sure. I mean, we have, excuse me, we have $400 for the end of the year. So we could okay up to,
Actually, we have 250.
Yeah, like say 250.
No, I mean, we have 250
that's
through the end of the year because we've just authorized 150 for Red Bench.
But that can come out of next year, because it's next year's breakfast.
Okay.
Is that what we talked about last time?
Yeah, I mean, we could do it that way.
Is that, where do the name tags fit in budget-wise?
It's really like $50 or something, if they're even that.
Oh, just total for
Yeah.
everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
If we okayed the money now and we just kind of communicated via email, we could get it done?
Yeah, so,
Or is
you
that
know,
too much? Is that too
well,
much?
I think my recommendation, if I'm gonna make a staff recommendation, is just to authorize the T-shirts to be made, and we'll get it done. We're talking about a couple, $10 maybe here or there. I think we should just, if you guys want the T-shirts, we should just get the T-shirts.
Well, and if the quote came back really unreasonable, you would say, wait a minute, we need to discuss it, right?
I will
So-
use my discretion.
All right.
Yes. Yep.
It does seem like a great idea to use Threadtastic and keep them.
I like to use local if we can.
Yep.
I'm gonna make a motion, if I can talk. I'm gonna make a motion to approve authorizing getting the T-shirts from Threadtastic.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No one? Okay, so Nate, you can just go ahead and see what's going on at Threadtastic.
All right, we'll get them.
Okay, we are just whipping through this tonight, you guys. So Ellen went to a demonstration
I'll
today.
email you our sizes.
Do you want to tell us about it?
I went to the Chaska Police Department, was doing a demonstration today on a new non-lethal restraint technique that they're going to be using. The product is developed to help deal with those in mental health crisis, which many police departments are finding that's the people that they're dealing with, and the real objective is de-escalation. That seems to be the key. It's, the benefit they're saying is the distance creates time, and they're showing that it's working well. When I was looking at a map that they were demonstrating today, right now Chaska is the only police department in Minnesota that is using this. Yes, actually. And I think it's going to be really an incredibly good piece of law enforcement for our community to have.
Are they already using it in the department?
I get the feeling they were just doing training today.
Oh,
So they
Yeah,
were
today
just
was a
starting the training
demonstration, and tomorrow will be the formal training.
today. Okay.
So then they'll be, having those as a tool in their toolbox, so to speak, from there on.
Commissioner Bean, I saw a report on this on the news right before I left home today, and it looks like when they shoot those out, they come out like a bullet and wrap around either their legs or their arms really quickly. Is there any pain involved in that, or they have those little hook things that?
It's 640 feet per second, so it is
Wow.
fast. The hook part, they said, because that question was asked, goes into clothing. And someone said, well, what if they don't have clothes on? And they said, yeah, there will be an impact into their skin, but it's very tiny. And by comparison to a taser or a bullet, exactly, it's significantly better. The wraparound is also very elastic, so it doesn't constrict them, it just limits and slows down their ability to move. So hoping, again, de-escalation being the key.
And I spoke to Chief Knight on my way here, actually, and he was telling me about the fact that he offered himself up as a
You'll have
target
it done.
today. Yep.
Yeah.
So he felt it, and he said it wasn't that painful for him. I mean, he's a tough guy. No, I'm kidding. But, he said he wasn't really feeling a lot of pain from that, so.
How many does it shoot out? Like, One of them I saw kind of came unraveled and then they shot another. Do they, I mean, can they shoot them in quick succession, do you know?
I don't know.
Well, I think it looks wonderful.
I think too, I ran into Ellen right after work today and she was telling me she'd just come from this. And I said, oh, did it take Chief Knight down? You know, I didn't really understand what it was doing specifically. And she said, no, it wraps you up, but it's not like, I forget the word, not like violently doing that. I mean, it stops you, but it's not, I mean, it's meant to restrain and to kind of give the officers time. It's not meant to like capture, you know, a suspect or something.
And he did move, but it wasn't a, you know, major movement at all. And he, you know, so.
But it
really
would
didn't-
slow down a situation a little bit, it sounds
Definitely.
like.
Looked like
And-
it could, yeah. So,
How many do they have? Does everybody, all the police have?
it was just a demonstration by the manufacturer today, so I don't know what the city is purchasing or going to do.
Yeah, I think the goal was to have enough that each police vehicle would have one in the vehicle. So it's not one per officer, it's one, you know, for the vehicle that the officers are working from.
They didn't say today.
And they were purchased using donation that we received from a local business, Michael's Foods, provided dollars to the city that we put towards that.
That's all.
Judy, this says rapid cartridge refresh supports multiple wraps. So there must be a way to continue using, you know, if it doesn't work out.
Did they talk about how other cities have used them and what kind of success they've had with them?
There was not a lot of attention to that, no.
I don't know the answer. I know it's a fairly new tool, but I think the important thing is that the officers have one more option that they can go to before, you know, needing to use a higher level of force that no one would really want to be using if they don't have to. So it's one more way to de-escalate a situation that we're giving our officers access to.
Do you know if the local people can wrap, you know, after they run out of the wraps, or I don't know how many they can get in one shot?
Again, it was just really a discussion today about why they were trying to use this, and the real focus was on mental health and trying to de-escalate. They didn't get into a lot of the technical aspects.
And what difference does it make?
It's interesting.
It was interesting, yeah.
Thank
And
you.
encouraging.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear they're looking at other options too,
Exactly,
so.
yeah.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything we need to talk about tonight? I feel like we're missing something because we went through everything so quickly.
Well, there wasn't that much.
Yeah,
The December meeting will be longer.
and we're going a little easy gearing up for the holidays here, so we'll give everybody a little break tonight. All right, well, if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
Good.